Last night, I encountered two sisters standing alone in the park, unable to ignore their plea for food, saying, "We're hungry." I left a note at their house and took them home with me. The next morning, I received a call from the sister's mother. Even after explaining the unusual circumstances of the previous night, the mother's expression didn't change. "How dare you leave such adorable kids and go off somewhere? Are you a mother?" Before I knew it, I found myself shouting this. To this, the mother said, "I'm planning to leave the kids at a facility." "Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Those kids said they love you." I urged the mother to reconsider, but her expression remained unchanged. There are couples out there who want children but can't have them. Like us. My voice trembled. She glanced at me and said, "Do you like Adam and Sophia? They're yours." "That's not what I mean." Realizing I couldn't continue this conversation calmly, I stormed out. "My name is Alex, and I'm 42 years old. I reconnected with my wife, Natalie, at a high school reunion when we were 30. We hadn't stood out to each other or even talked back in our student days, but we hit it off after discovering a shared interest in watching movies. Eventually, we started dating and got married at 33. How many kids do you want, Natalie? Considering I'm also 33. Maybe 2. How about you, Alex? I want 5. I want to make a basketball team with my kids. Natalie laughed joyfully at my enthusiastic response. I dream of a lively family. Getting married was followed by the desire for children. I had assumed that having children was a natural next step for everyone, but reality proved different. Friends who married after us were quickly sending Christmas greeting cards announcing the births of their children. However, Natalie and I struggled to conceive. "I'm already 37. Should we consider fertility treatments?" Natalie said apologetically, "Please don't blame yourself. If there's something we can try, let's do it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We have enough money." We both had stable incomes. Since we lived without much extravagance, we had managed to save a decent amount. Fertility treatment isn't unusual. We started receiving fertility treatment, encouraging Natalie along the way. However, fertility treatment was tougher than we had imagined. Especially Natalie, who worked in caregiving, struggled a lot balancing treatment and her job. I asked her, "What do you want the most right now?" "I want a child. I just want to be a mother, like anyone else." The word "like anyone else" struck me hard, and I made a decision. Caregiving was hard work, and Natalie had always said she would quit if she got pregnant. So, I boldly suggested, "If you want, you can quit your job. Let's give everything we can right now. Look, I earn a decent wage." Natalie was silent for a while, but eventually nodded with tears in her eyes. Thus, Natalie quit her job, and we devoted ourselves to the treatment, dreaming of holding our child. But reality was not so kind. In the end, a baby never came to us. On Natalie's 40th birthday, we decided to stop the treatment. "I'm happy just with the two of us, Natalie." "Thank you. We've done all we could, so no regrets. Now, let's toast." We toasted with beer and slurped cup noodles. Since starting fertility treatment, Natalie had been careful about everything in her lifestyle for health improvement. No alcohol, instant noodles were a big no. She would go to bed by 10 p.m. and get up by 7 a.m. to catch the morning sun. Sure, all these were healthy habits. But honestly, it was restrictive, and both of us had been pushing ourselves these past 3 years. However, that lifestyle ended yesterday. Natalie gulped down her beer and devoured her favorite seafood-flavored cup noodles. That night, we stayed up late watching movies. The next day, as I was off work, we slept in together. Spending time together without any restrictions. It's the ultimate happiness, isn't it? I embraced Natalie, who was still lounging in bed. "Absolutely. Let's travel and do lots of fun things together." We accepted our reality and started moving forward with determination. Time passed, and we were both 42 years old. Natalie, who had started yoga during our fertility treatment, had mastered it and was now working as a yoga instructor. Without children, we had no financial worries. So, I encouraged Natalie to work however she liked. We were living peaceful and happy days as a couple. One day, on the way home from work, I passed by the park, which is located along the way. It was completely dark, and the park was usually empty at this hour. But that day, I glimpsed two children riding a swing in the darkness. No way, right? Relying on the park's streetlights, I looked for their parents. However, there were only the two children in the park. I rushed over to them. Up close, the children were younger than I thought. Their similar faces suggested they were sisters. Seeing them barefoot, I sensed something was seriously wrong. Then, the words they uttered made me doubt my ears. "Mister, can we have something to eat?" I thought to myself. This is in the States, of all places. Encountering two young girls begging in the darkness, I was profoundly shocked. Unaware of my feelings, they just stared at me. "Where are your dad and mom?" I asked cautiously, and they shook their heads. "What are your names?" The older girl answered. "I'm Adams. This is my sister, Sophia." "Adams and Sophia, thank you for telling me. It's dangerous for children to be here alone. Shall we go home?" After looking at my face, they looked down. Then, a stomach growled loudly. "I'm hungry, big sis." Sophia started to whimper. "Me too," Adams added. Adams bit her lip to hold back tears. I didn't have any food with me. Not knowing what to do, I called Natalie. After explaining the situation, Natalie came right over. "Here, can you eat this?" When Natalie offered them wrapped hamburger, the sisters devoured them eagerly. No need to rush. There's more where that came from. Even in such an odd situation, I deeply respected Natalie for her kindness towards the children. "Big sis, I'm sleepy." Now that her stomach was full, Sophia began rubbing her eyes, ready to fall asleep at any moment. "Shall we go home? Can you show us the way?" When Natalie gently asked Adams, she nodded affirmatively. Adams held Natalie's hand to lead the way, and I carried Sophia on my back, following them. "This is it." Adams stopped in front of an old two-story apartment, room 101. She pulled out a key from her purse and opened the door. Inside was pitch dark, with no sign of anyone else. Adams walked in, turned on the light, and the apartment lit up. Natalie and I gasped. The room was a mess. There were piles of laundry and many garbage bags lying around. The desk is overflowing with empty bags of pastries and candies. Anyway, the inside of the room was in disrepair. "Are your mom and dad still at work?" When I asked, Adams looked down. "I don't know. They've been gone for a long time." Saying that, Adams clung to Natalie's leg. Natalie and I exchanged glances and nodded silently to each other. It seemed we both had the same thought. It's dangerous for two children to be alone. Come stay with us for tonight. Don't worry. I'll leave a note for your mom, so it'll be all right. Natalie wrote on a note that we were taking care of the children and asked for immediate contact upon their return, then stuck it on the entrance door. "Sir, ma'am." "Thank you." Hearing Adams's fragile voice, my heart tightened. "It's going to be okay." Natalie hugged Adams tightly. As we were leaving the house, a family photo on the shoe cabinet caught my eye. It might have been taken about a year ago. Adams and Sophia looked younger than they do now. The photo showed the four family members, the girls flanked by their parents, all smiling without a care. What could have happened to such a seemingly happy family? "Please come and pick up your children now." I earnestly wished for it. On the way to our house, we stopped at a children's clothing store. By then, Sophia had woken up, and both girls were excitedly looking at the cute clothes in the store. "What's your favorite color?" "Light blue." "Orange." "How about this? Wouldn't it look nice?" Natalie picked out clothes and pajamas for them, filling the cart. The three of them choosing clothes together, laughing and chatting, looked just like a real mother and daughters, which was heartwarming. Hearing Adams's fragile voice, my heart tightened. "Let's eat this and talk, okay?" While eating apples, we listened to the sisters share their story. Their father had been around until not too long ago but had been absent for a while. After moving in with just their mother, she had become listless and spent most of her time in bed. Their meals had mostly been bread or hamburger their mother bought, but they both dearly loved their kind mother. According to the girls, their mother hasn't returned home for 3 days. "We ran out of food Mom bought, so we went to the park to wait for her," Adams explained. Hearing her story tugged at our hearts. "Thank you for telling us. Don't worry anymore. We'll look for your mom and dad tomorrow, but for now, let's get some rest." Natalie gave Adams and Sophia a comforting look. They quickly felt at ease and fell asleep upon lying on the bed. The next morning, around 7 a.m., I received a call from an unknown number. Hoping it might be them, I quickly answered to find a woman claiming to be Adam's and Sophia's mother. Leaving the still sleeping girls with Natalie, I rushed to meet their mother at her house. "I'm Olivia. So, you took care of Adams and Sophia." Olivia emerged from the entrance, appearing to be a normal woman in her 20s at first glance. However, she showed no sign of panic, nor did much gratitude come across. I found myself getting a bit annoyed and said, "The girls were alone in the park last night. Is that so? They were hungry and hadn't bathed in about 3 days. So what?" Even as I explained the unusual situation of Adams and Sophia from last night, Olivia's expression didn't change. "How dare you leave such adorable kids and go somewhere? Are you even their mother?" My anger towards Olivia grew, and before I knew it, I was shouting. She probably never expected to be yelled at by me. Olivia flinched and looked down. "Calm down, calm down." I took a deep breath and silently waited for Olivia's response. After about 5 minutes, still looking down, she said, "I'm planning to leave the kids at a facility." "Hold on a minute." Her unexpected words made me widen my eyes. "What are you talking about? Why would you put the kids in a facility? If there's a reason, please tell me. The girls said they love you." I urged Olivia to reconsider, but her expression remained unchanged. "There are couples in the world who want children but can't have them. Like us." My voice trembled. Olivia glanced at me and said, "Do you like Adams and Sophia? They're yours." "That's not what I'm saying." Finding it impossible to tack to her calmly, I stormed out of the house. When I got home, Adams and Sophia were awake and having breakfast. "Is it okay if I have seconds? It's delicious." "Of course." "Me too." Faced with such a peaceful scene, I was on the verge of tears. Natalie sensed everything without words that the discussion with their mother hadn't gone well. While the kids were brushing their teeth, I told Natalie about Olivia. Natalie didn't speak ill of her, instead pondering silently. "Natalie, all right. How about we go to the zoo today?" Natalie switched gears in an instant, sending a smile towards Adams and Sophia. The kids cheered, "Yay," and started hopping around the house. While watching over the two, engrossed with rabbits at the affection section, we talked about what to do next. Maybe there's some reason behind it, but Olivia seemed totally uninterested in the kids from the start. I couldn't help but have a negative impression of Olivia. "Can we keep Adams and Sophia for 3 more days? I'll try to get Olivia to talk during that time. I'll contact her." So, it was decided that Adams and Sophia would stay with us for another 3 days. Both girls quickly grew fond of Natalie, who was always with them. While I was away from home at work, the bond among the 3 deepened as they spent time together cleaning the house and shopping. It's a 3-to-1 ratio with 2 daughters. No male in a family feels a little lonely, I thought to myself. Then, I recall Olivia's words, which bothers me. The words, "Do you like Adams and Sophia? They're yours." I wanted to yell, "Are you kidding me?" But I knew she wasn't joking. That's why I was so troubled. I was trying to understand why she was giving up her children so easily. And where had their father gone? Though I had left dealing with Olivia to Natalie, I couldn't focus on work for these 3 days. On the evening of the 3rd day, after the children had gone to sleep, Natalie said, "Alex, I talked to Olivia." "Yeah." "Olivia hasn't changed her mind. She's going to put the girls in a facility." I was at a loss. "Alex, I have a request. I want to live with the girls." Looking up, Natalie's gaze was serious. "Live with them? We're not even related to those kids." Of course, I didn't want to send them to a facility. But could we really accept complete strangers and take full responsibilities that easily? If Olivia officially designates us as foster parents, there won't be a problem. Natalie placed a signed consent form in front of me. It read, "For some time, I entrust the guardianship of Adams and Sophia to Alex and Natalie. I will make contact at least once a month. For some time. So she'll come back for them." Olivia's intentions became even more unclear. Over these 3 days, Natalie had spoken with Olivia on the phone dozens of times without the children knowing. And from those talks, she revealed a shocking truth about Olivia and the father whom we hadn't met. The more I listened, the more I felt that they shouldn't be sent to a facility. Yeah, I started to believe it was fate, too. I want to raise children, not just for their sake but honestly. for myself as well. Natalie confessed after spending a few days with the children, completely charmed by the life filled with their presence. If the kids are okay with it, we can take care of them here. But if we're ever told to give them back, we must do so immediately. And Natalie, you'll be the one who's hurt the most when that time comes. Spending years together would surely nurture a genuine affection for them. Yet, we're not their parents, after all. They might stay with us forever, or they might return to Olivia and her partner next year. Can you accept that? Natalie was silent for a while, but eventually nodded decisively. Okay. Adams, Sophia, come here. We called them over. We talked to her mom, and she said that your dad and she can't live together for a while. So, how about living here with us? Their faces, beaming with joy just moments ago, clouded over. For how long? That, we don't quite know. I miss my mom. Your mom cannot meet you now, but surely your mom come to see you someday. Tears quickly filled Adams and Sophia's eyes. They had never been demanding, but now they began to wail. No, I don't. No, I don't like. Natalie and I were at a loss. I whispered to Natalie if we should tell them the truth, but she shook her head no. Olivia had made us promise not to tell the kids. Wait, Adams and Sophia won't understand this situation. Olivia wishes the girls to be happy, even if it means they hate her. That's what being a mother is about. Natalie reasoned before decisively hugging Adams and Sophia. Please, no more crying. You can't see your mom and dad now. Your mom asked us to stay with you. So, can you do it? No. The harsh reality was too much for the 4- and 5-year-old kids. I knew that enough. That's why I play a heel to enable them accept the only one option left for them. Your mom said, if you don't like it here, she'd leave you somewhere you don't know. Is that okay? Silence fell. Only their sniffles filled the room. Natalie spoke to the girls. You can think of us as your real family. We'll cherish you as our own children. Then, hug them tighter. After a while, Adams murmured, I'll stay with Uncle and Auntie. And Sophia, trying to emulate her sister, said, Me, too. As we watched the girls' eyes fill with tears, witnessing their every effort to understand and accept the reality moved us to tears as well. You can stay here forever. We'll protect you no matter what, so don't worry, Natalie promised. Hearing her words, they nodded through their sobs. Thus began our life as a family of 4. 5 years passed, and Adams was now 10, Sophia 9. Mom Natalie, you didn't iron the school uniform. Sorry. Just a sec. Dad Alex, can you sign my reading log? Sure thing. This is the scene in our home every morning. No matter how many times I say, prepare the night before, they always end up scrambling in the morning. Though I'm exasperated, I've grown fond of this morning chaos. Adams and Sophia have somehow started calling us Dad Alex and Mom Natalie. To those who have no idea about our relationship, we must seem like a real family. As for Adams and Sophie, whenever their friends ask about our relationship, they just respond we're relatives. It seems more realistic than saying we're complete strangers. That's what they've learned to say. We're deeply relieved to see Adams and Sophia thriving at school. For a while after we started living together, they often asked about their real parents. But over time, those questions became less frequent and eventually stopped altogether. We were curious about what they had in their minds, but of course, we didn't want to do anything that would unearth concealed painful memories, so we never brought up their parents. Meanwhile, Natalie kept in touch with Olivia once a month, as agreed. At first, Natalie seemed happy to share updates about the kids, but eventually, she sighed whenever Olivia called. What did Olivia say? She sounded cheerful. She was happy to hear about Adams and Sophia. Natalie obviously tried her best to act cheerfully. What's going on? I was worried about her, but since Natalie didn't say anything, I didn't ask any more questions. We attended school events, cheered for them at Sports Fest. Natalie and I often watched their school basketball team games, spending weekends cheering them on with packed lunches. We felt like a real family. My life was happy with just Natalie, but having kids made it infinitely better. Just having Adams and Sophia around made us laugh and talk more, discovering new things for the kids. These past 5 years have flown by. We thought these happy days would continue, but then it happened suddenly. One early morning, as the 4 of us were having breakfast, someone came to visit. Who could it be this early in the morning? Natalie went to answer the door. Sorry for coming so early. I heard the visitor's voice, but not Natalie's. What's going on? As I approached the door, there stood Olivia, and a tall man beside her. It was Adam's and Sophia's dad. I remembered the family photo displayed above our shoe cabinet. Our eyes were met. This is my husband, Bob. We've come to take the children. Lost for words. I turned to see Natalie looking back at me with tears in her eyes. We're just having breakfast. Could you wait a moment? Please, come in. I managed to maintain my composure and led them to the living room. Mom and Dad too. Adams and Sophia dropped their bread in shock at the sudden appearance of their parents. Adams, Sophia, we're sorry for everything. We've come to take you home. Though disheveled from sleep, seeing their children grown up brought tears to Olivia and Bob's eyes. Adams and Sophia remained silent, glancing over at us. I was happy for them, seeing mother and father. I remained silent but nodded with a gentle gaze. Mom and Dad. Sophia cried out and ran to her parents. The two hugged Sophia tightly. You've grown so much. Yeah, I'm already in 3rd grade. I can even do division now. Sophia joyfully and innocently rejoiced at reuniting with her biological parents, while Adams stayed seated, not attempting to stand. Adams, come on, go say hello. I spoke gently, but Adams glared at her parents and said, What are you doing here now? Everyone fell silent at Adams's words. We're sorry for making you feel lonely. We've been working hard these past 5 years to be able to live with you again. Olivia said, tears in her eyes, desperately trying to explain, but Adams gave her a cold look. You abandoned us once. What now? You came back because we're grown up enough to clean and cook. Olivia vehemently denied Adams's accusation. No, that's not it. I'm sorry we couldn't take care of you properly back then. But everything's okay now. What's okay? I don't understand. Adams shouted and ran to her room, slamming the door behind her. We never brought up their parents unless Adams and Sophia asked about them. I had been pleased, thinking they didn't ask because they were happy living with us, but I realized I was wrong. For Adams, she was thinking she had been abandoned. She must have been bearing that wound, acting cheerful in front of us. Natalie and I felt our hearts torn. Seeing her sister's reaction, Sophia also stepped back from her parents. Did you abandon us, do you? Sophia's voice was trembling. No, I've been preparing so we could live together with Adams and Sophia forever. Bob crouched down to meet Sophia's gaze. Not knowing what to do, Sophia looked at Natalie for help. Natalie herself probably didn't want to part with the children and was feeling distressed. However, the next moment, Natalie's expression changed back to her usual motherly look. Then, Natalie went into Adams's room. After a while, Adams came out of the room, led by Natalie, with her head down. Olivia, Bob, these kids are old enough to understand now, and they observe and think about adult matters more than we realize. Please tell them the truth, Natalie urged to Olivia and Bob. After a moment of silence, Olivia started to speak slowly. 5 years ago, Mom got sick. Olivia, who had married Bob, a year her senior, at the age of 20. A year later, Adams was born, followed by Sophia a year after that, and the family of 4 was picture-perfectly happy. However, 5 years ago, Olivia, feeling unwell, went to the doctor and was diagnosed with progressive cancer. We needed a lot of money to treat Mom's illness. Both high school graduates and having children at a young age, they didn't have much savings. So, Bob worked tirelessly, sparing no time for sleep, to earn money for the treatment. The reason why their father hadn't been coming home became clear, and Adams and Sophia looked up slightly. Because I was given a year to live, I looked everywhere for someone who could take care of you. Olivia should have been at the hospital, but Bob couldn't come home because he needs to earn income. Olivia, dragging her weary body, went around begging relatives. That was when I met with the children in the park. Olivia hadn't come home for 3 days. All the relatives persuaded her to put the children in a facility, saying it was too much to handle. When Olivia returned home in despair, there was a note on the entrance. Seeing Natalie's neat handwriting, I thought she could be someone who would take good care of you too. After talking a lot, I realized that both Natalie and Alex were wonderful people. I was convinced that you would be happy with these two. With only a year left to live, Olivia knew she couldn't trace Adams and Sophia. She wanted them to forget about her and their father as soon as possible and be happy with a new family. Thinking so, Olivia disappeared without saying goodbye to the children. Adams and Sophia quietly listened to Olivia's story, tears streaming down their faces. "But there was one thing I asked of Olivia," said Natalie, looking at Olivia. Olivia recalled and said, "Natalie told me, I will raise them as my own children, so please, promise me you'll get well and come back for them." Bob, reminded of that time, let out a sob. "I learned for the first time Natalie and Olivia had made such a promise was something." Bob borrowed money from relatives and friends, and Olivia's treatment began immediately. "All I could think about every day was spending time together as a family of 4 again." That hope worked miracles, and Olivia's cancer, which had been given a year's prognosis, gradually faded away. And a year ago, the cancer went into remission. "Why didn't you come to get us sooner?" Adams finally spoke up. "We had a lot of debt. The money borrowed for my treatment. I couldn't come to get you until it was paid off." Bob continued to work multiple jobs as usual, and Olivia worked as much as she could without overdoing it, and they finally paid off their debts last week. "Sorry we took so long to come for you." Hearing the truth, Adams and Sophia clung to their parents, crying loudly. Seeing the 4 of them embrace, Natalie and I couldn't help but cry too. Honestly, I felt a bit lonely, but seeing the 4 of them together, it was clear they were the real family, an undeniable fact. "Thank you so much for everything." Bob kept apologizing to us again and again. Bob, who worked tirelessly for 5 years to protect Olivia, I think he's truly admirable. And Olivia, who overcame a terminal diagnosis and beat cancer. Her love for Adams and Sophia proved to be unmatched. Adams and Sophia, having packed their things, came to us with indescribable expressions. Dad Alex, Mom Natalie. Both Adams and Sophia burst into tears. "Adams, Sophia, thank you for coming to our home, even if it was for a short period of time. We were truly happy, and we had a lot of fun, didn't we?" Natalie cried hard too. I hugged all 3 of them. "Do you remember you practiced basketball at dawn just to get a better player, and coming home lined up on our bikes against the sunset? We'll remember Adams and Sophia every day when we look at the sky. So, you two, live happily with lots of smiles from now on." Adams, Sophia. Since the first time I heard their names, every time I looked at the sky, I thought of them. I'm sure I'll continue to look up at the sky every day, and I wish for their happiness more than anyone else. Natalie and I watched the 4 of them leave. "We have to live happily enough to make those kids proud," I said. "Right. Otherwise, they might worry and come back. They are such kind kids." Natalie wiped away her tears and smiled. Then, 12 years passed, and we turned 59. Every year, Olivia would let us know through Christmas greeting cards that Adams and Sophia were doing well and had grown into wonderful women. We looked up at the sky every day and remembered them, but we never brought up their topic on purpose. One day, a beautiful envelope arrived. The sender was Adams and Sophia. Rushing to open it, we found it was an invitation to their wedding. "It seems they are having a joint wedding. They are inseparable, aren't they?" Natalie smiled with a face full of love. We didn't hesitate to mark "Yes, I attend." The wedding was in a month. I wonder what kind of man they are marrying. Are they capable of making Adams and Sophia truly happy? Feeling like a father whose daughter is being taken away by her husband-to-be, I was so nervous as the wedding approached that I couldn't eat. Seeing me like that, Natalie laughed in disbelief. Then, on the day of the wedding, arriving at the venue, we checked in and were handed the seating chart. "Alex, look." Opening the seating chart, Natalie's eyes overflowed with tears. I, too, couldn't hold back my tears looking at the seating chart. Our seats were in the immediate family section. Bride's father Bob, bride's mother Olivia, and next to those names, ours. Our title was, "The People the Brides Would Want to Hug Right This Moment." Adams and Sophia. This is just unfair. I did my makeup perfectly, and now this. Natalie cried and laughed. We don't have children of our own by blood, but having Adams and Sophia, who think of us this much even from afar, I thought we were happier than anyone else in the world.